Hello guys, happy holidays. I love the holidays. I think I'm gonna try to write this down. I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna be really brief on here because my hair is moisturized. But wanted to get on here. By my day job is that I am an assistant professor. Sorry, just looking at my teeth. My teeth are clean, clean, boy. But anyway, I am an assistant professor, and the goal for me is to be full professor. But I just wanted to highlight some trends that are going on in academia that I want some of us faculty members to be very mindful of. Now, you can bypass, you feel like I'm stepping out of my lane. It's fine. It's cool. I'm not offended. Okay. But I just want to maybe offer a little advice that might be helpful for my faculty colleagues. Especially when it comes to degrees. So when it comes to degrees, we want to make sure that students are getting something out of it. And I'm not saying that your course is not helping students getting anything out of it, but we want to make sure that it is beneficial and it's transferable skills that they could take with them into the workplace. Now, me personally, I have a lot of years in the fitness industry, on the health promotion industry, and also a little bit in the human services industry, meaning that I've worked with industries that help distribute and manage state mandated benefits. Same thing with fitness and creating health promotion programs. And so, kind of have an idea of what's out there and what's to be expected. My current venture is still in exercise science, but also an additional venture is public health. And so I'm very eager to ensure that students have certain competencies in place for them in their coursework to be able to transfer into the workplace, and making sure that that competency meets a workplace demand. Now, one thing that is happening is that a lot of institutions, primarily HBCUs, and part of this is because HBCUs are really producing the students. They are advancing in degrees. I mean, they're coming up with terminal degrees. And ideally, and this is part of my research, I won't dive too deep into it, but also it helps to address a health disparity need, just as relatability. Now, for me, my main thing is Black women and stress. Okay, that hits us the hardest, and that hits us the hardest for a multitude of reasons. And a lot of that is generational. And a lot of that is just kind of built around the society that we're in. But in that, it's all about making sure that students pick up something that they could transfer into a workplace skill, or, into something that they can produce in the long run, whether it be research, whether it be on the job, that type of thing. But anyway, HBCUs tend to produce students ready to get into the workforce. Not saying that primarily white institutions do not, but most HBCUs do. Okay. So, and from my experience, most times, not every time, but most times, if you go to a larger institution, it is a combination of just institution name, but also maybe, relevance wise, they have the courses. There is a school that I will not name right now that I feel like that does an amazing job. I will say that they are, and that could be why they're, one of the top schools, not only in the nation, but in the world. But there are some institutions in the Midwest, I'll say that. There's some institutions in the Midwest that do a really good job with preparing students for the workforce by producing or having courses that really focus on transferable skills. Now, the best thing that I could say to this with working at an HBCU, we're producing that. A lot of HBCUs are starting to connect to a community college pipeline. Now, like I said, most HBCUs tend to be very affordable, and that could be one of the many reasons why a lot of HBCUs are being connected to a community college pipeline. For example, they do 2 years at an institution, getting their general core, like your basic math, your basic English course, writing course, rhetoric, that type of thing. And then they transfer into the institution. And at that point, once you come to the institution, you should just hop into the actual core curriculum of your desired career path. Now, one thing that I will give, we want to make sure, and I say this for me too, we want to make sure that as students get into the core curriculum, that these core courses are relevant. Okay. The one thing, and I had to eat this too, the one thing you don't want your students to say about your course is that we didn't learn nothing. Okay. That is one thing you don't want to do in your course. Now, if you feel like you can't do this because you're always got your always feet wet in something else, then it might be time to really ask yourself, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I really providing this service for the students? Because at the end of the day, as much as I love being a faculty member, one thing that I do recognize is that my biggest stakeholder is the student. Okay. And so I would not have a job if the student, if there were no students. That's just as real as it gets. So I'm always appreciative, whether it's hard feedback or difficult feedback or bad feedback, I'm always appreciative of any feedback from a student to make me a better professor. But one piece of advice that I want to give other faculty members that are watching this, and as well as students, you want to ask yourself, does this course hold any relevance to what I'm looking to do when I graduate or when I get a degree? Like, is this going to help me advance in my career? Am I going to make money off this skill? That type of thing. So those things are super important. And so it is time to take a hard look at the courses and say, you know what? Maybe this doesn't have any relevance. Let me scrap this. Okay. And then just align it with maybe the competency of an association, an accrediting association, and see, like, maybe if can we offer something like this just based off of what these standards are listed on this accrediting body. So that's when you want to be able to kind of help create that bridge, and then work with the community college. Get a demographic about your students. I live in the state where a majority of the students, whether they attend a state school or private school, most of them are Pell eligible, meaning that they come from households where there's a certain income limit that they fall below. And so coming from a state that the majority of the students are below that poverty line and are Pell eligible, it's so important that we make sure that these students get into these degree programs and they get a skill. Okay, so important. There's so many students out there that come out of school, zero skills. Okay. And I'm not just talking about not only just relevant to the major, but just in general, like being able to go in and create an Excel document or go in to create a Word document, or just job readiness skills, going in and knowing how to create your own resume, knowing the type of behavior and demeanor that should be established in a job interview. Like, if you really want to show up for yourself and you really want this job, don't show up in no jeans and no Uggs. Like, it's things like that. And be interested. Don't look at it as like, I'm just here to make money, because if you are always on that mindset, you're always going to carry every job. I'm just here to make money. Now, don't get me wrong. There's jobs that I want to just make money and do the basic, like Nene Leakes said, just get my check, drink my water, go home. I feel that on a whole nother level. But I think we're doing, as faculty members, a disservice to some of our students if we are constantly offering courses that are not relevant, that some of these courses, some of these students are learning on YouTube University, and that's just as real as it gets. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that I know that are doing very well. They're high school dropouts, they're college dropouts. And to some degree, some of these individuals that are billionaires and they dropped out of college, they have more knowledge than I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's that aspect. And as faculty members, one thing that I realized for myself, understanding that in all things intended, I'm a contractor. And so I am self-employed. Okay. But, of course, different standards the university needs to be able to maintain and carry on some of the standards the university requires. That, if, let's say, for example, if you're a teaching institution, then there might be a certain amount of hours that you need to have on your master's degree to be proficient, to be able to deliver this, or there might be certain aspects of research and writing that you have to do to be able to be a viable piece of the content that is offered at the institution. And so, you want to ask yourself, how can I show up for these students? And I always ask myself this: how do I show up for the students that my advisor at the time, Dr. Jesse Pitsley, showed up for me as someone that is contributing to the curriculum and producing students ready for the workforce? And in that, I had to say to myself, like, I'm really passionate about this area. Let me focus on this. Let me start writing on this, and let me see how I can broaden my horizons. I'm really interested in the adult and the pedagogy. I say adult because I can't say the actual term for it. Androgyny or andragogy. I can't say it. But anyway, but I'm interested in those aspects of it because I'm very passionate about designing courses that fit the recommended aspect of teaching just based on those age groups, and just designing a course, a curriculum, and a syllabus that is designed again with the end goal of having students come out of this with the credentials that they need, okay, to be a top performer. And if they're not and if they don't want to do a 9 to 5, cool. But let's provide some tools for them to be successful as entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Or at least if they decide to drop out of school, let's offer them something that they could take with them. Okay. So I think those are things that are super important. And I tell everybody, college ain't for everybody. Okay. College is not for everybody. And I'm okay with that. Okay. I had conversations with students all the time that are constantly getting bad grades in this, and they're only in their freshman year, and then you get bad grades again in this, and this is your second semester, and then you get bad grades again. And then you're looking at me telling me I'm trying to stay in school. You're not ready for school. It's okay to seek another pathway, get a trade, find something that you can definitely profit off of, make money, and go about it that way. And then maybe if you feel like, if once you do a life audit, everybody's talking about life audit, once you do a life audit and maybe you want to go back to school, then pursue that pathway. But if you are 3 semesters in and you've been getting F's all 3 semesters, I will have that come to Jesus moment and be like, school's probably not for you. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, email me later and let me know how you making 7 figures. I will get excitement from that. And the reason why I get excitement from that is because you actually broaden your horizon outside of just college. There's money to be made from every angle. Every angle. Like I think somebody used the analogy, like when you go to the grocery store, you don't just see one specific type of bread, you see a bunch of loaves of bread, okay, with different things going on and different ingredients. Even in the frozen section, there's different loaves of bread, and there's different ways you can make bread. There's different ways you could curate bread, sell bread, all this other stuff. My mom used to say, there's all millions of different kind of ways to skin a cat, okay? And so I just wanted to come on here and maybe help my fellow faculty members out. By all means, think about your curriculum. Ask yourself, what job can they get when they get out of here? It doesn't matter if they want to go get a master's degree. If they want to do a gap year, maybe they sick of school. And you want to make sure that your curriculum and what you're offering is something that you could give back to them that can get them ready for the workforce, or not even the workforce, get them ready to make money. Okay, I got students that want to go into the military after this. That's cool. Well, make sure that what we're giving you, can accommodate towards a trade or a skill while you're in the military. Okay, maybe you are trying to work from home. Then being able to put some technology aspect of it so you can be productive and successful at home. There's a lot of ways to do it. Maybe you just need a certification. Well, let's line up some courses in such a way that you can get a certification and you can start making money now. Okay, so I think that is just the conversation that I think is important to have as a faculty member. So, but by all means, pray about it first. I always tell people that all the time because my advice may not be for you, but maybe if it is, I hope it helps. Have a great day. Be blessed.